Oh my god, quick, get the popcorn. The show's about to start. Oh my god, here we go. So, fair warning. You may hear heavy breathing, squeaks, and husky awoos and rah rah rahs. Um, do not be alarmed. That is just my four-legged toddler causing mayhem. Anyway, hello. And welcome back to what is going to be a not so long, very brief, random Chair to Face Wrestling podcast episode. I am your host, Chrissy. It's been a hot minute. Let's see. It's September. Last episode was in July. So I'd like to say thank you for sticking around and sorry it took so long. Life's been crazy. And anyway, we're going to just jump right into it. Dive right in like we normally do. I'm not going to harp long. I'm not going to be on anything very long because it's been a long time and there's so much to cover in such a short time. So, first off, let's talk about this ESPN merge with WWE.
Shocking.
We saw our first. There we go. All right. Good job, Chrissy. Yeah, great job. Put together sentences. Anyway, we saw our first PLE, aka pay-per-view for all of us older folk out there. Old. Anyway, saw our first one on ESPN. Back in my day, you did not see pay-per-views, PLEs on ESPN. ESPN has always been a sports icon. Okay, everybody knows what ESPN is. If you don't know what ESPN is, you're living under a rock. I suggest you get out from under that rock and go look at ESPN. Wrestling would make their way on ESPN, but not as much as it has recently. Now, feel free to fact check me if you want to. I don't really watch ESPN that much. I watch it for the Pat McAfee show, sometimes Sports Center, just depends on my mood and where I'm at in life. And it's usually for background noise. Anyway, so we saw WrestlePalooza, which is the first pay-per-view on ESPN. Now, I want to say thank you, ESPN, for not having your ESPN bullcrap on the bottom of the TV. Thank you. I stress this. If I saw your little ESPN thing on the bottom of the TV, I don't know what to call it. I call it the ESPN thing, okay? We were going to have a problem. A riot was going to transpire. Okay? I don't want to sit watching my pay-per-views and seeing the ESPN thing on the bottom. Okay? I'm fine with it any other time. But if I'm watching my wrestling, I ain't got time for that. I'm not going to be reading the little thing on the bottom. I'm going to be paying attention to what's on the screen. Anyway, in my opinion, now again, we all have our opinions, okay? And we're all entitled to our opinions. And that's all right, okay? I didn't think WrestlePalooza was that bad. I feel like for a first time on ESPN broadcast, it was not terrible at all. That John Cena and Brock Lesnar match was not my favorite. I'm going to be honest with you. I felt like it was lacking, and dare I say, so John Cena will be done with wrestling in the next couple of months. I don't know how us millennials are going to get through it. It's going to be a tearjerker. I feel that John Cena's hoorah, his last hoorah, his in matches, I feel they deserve so much more, and he deserves so much more. Now it's Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is a beast, like literally a beast. I would not want to catch him in a dark alley. I would give him my purse, my wallet, everything. Say, he go. Take it. I'm done. Not doing this today. I feel like that match could have been more than what it was. So there's that. AJ Lee came back, which was not expecting it. This storyline between CM Punk and Seth Rollins has reached an ultimate. Okay, like this has been awesome to watch. Then you bring in Becky Lynch, the man, which I mean, does Sports Illustrated really say that she's the best women's wrestler? Because I'm sure there's multiples out there that are the best women wrestlers. Just throwing that out there. And I know Becky is playing a role. Kudos to you, girlfriend. But I don't want to hear that Sports Illustrated says that you're the greatest. We know you're greatest. Let's move on, shall we? Obviously, Becky got in the middle of CM Punk and Seth's match. Now, a couple months ago, CM Punk had an awesome match, just an amazing match with Gunther. And he won the belt. I ugly sobbed on my couch for the duration of it. And then Seth comes out. And I would like to go on record to say, at first, the last podcast episode, I had said, no, it's not a work. It's not a this. He actually said, boy, am I stupid. I will never, ever say that shit again. Ever. Done. Done deal for me. Seth came out, cashed in Money in the Bank, won the belt. Ta-da. Fast forward to a couple weeks ago, we see the return of AJ Lee. Not something I was expecting. Super excited. Absolutely love AJ Lee. The match was, oh my God, it was great. If you did not watch that match, you should go watch that match. I thought it was great. That's me. Okay, again, we are all entitled to our opinions. If you would like to step up to the opinion box and we have a conversation about your feelings and your opinions about wrestling, hit me up. I got you. Anyway, WrestlePalooza. I'm not going to go into much detail with it. It was quick. Speaking of pay-per-views, PLEs, today we're going to do just a quick little what have you about PLEs, pay-per-views. I'm going to call it the retro time. So now, the next couple of months is crunch time for us wrestling fans. We're gearing up for the end of the year to bring us into the Royal Rumble, which will bring us into WrestleMania. Now, random, off topic, I personally will be taking a little hiatus from things in life for a while. Yeah. It'll be great. I'm excited for what I will be embarking on. Super excited. And it's going to be great. It's going to take some adjusting to this new way of life. And yeah, see where it goes. But I'm not going to give up on this podcast. I do enjoy doing this. It's been a little minute. Yes, I understand. And there's reasons for that. But that's my personal life that I'm not going to air out right now on anything. So I'm keeping it personal, keeping it to myself. But my friends and family know what's been going on. So shout out to y'all. Anyway, we got Crown Jewel coming up in October. We got Saturday night's main event coming up in November. Survivor Series, which is one of my personal favorites, coming up in November. If you don't know that already, go back and watch some of our episodes. I talk about Survivor Series. It's one of my favorites. We have another Saturday night main event in December. January begins Royal Rumble, and then we're into Mania season. Woo! That's going to be coming in April. Next year, the next year, 2027, WrestleMania will be in Saudi Arabia. Very different. I'm sure it's a on and off of how everyone is feeling about it. So I mean, it is what it is. New Orleans is not getting a WrestleMania anytime soon. So, shout out to Paul Triple H Levesque. Let me just say, for the Louisiana community, that we are the party capital, okay? If you are broken down on the bridge, I-10, going to Baton Rouge, or even the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge, going into New Orleans, or anywhere, okay? We party. It is a laissez-les bon temps roulé, which, shout out to my co-host, Chris. I said it right, dude. Go me. We party. So, where's our mania? I would like to see our WrestleMania, sir. Okay? Lots of love to you, Triple H. Lots of love to you. All right? You're doing a great job. We're proud of you and all the things that you're doing for this company and this business and this industry. But if we don't get a WrestleMania in Louisiana, we're going to riot. And I say that a lot on this podcast. I don't think I'd ever riot. It's too much work to organize a riot. And that's just, I'm all about anarchy and tearing it down and burning it all down. No pun intended to Seth Rollins. But if we don't see a WrestleMania in the next couple years, Paul, we need to have a conversation and we need to have a meeting. Okay? Let me know when you're available for that meeting and I'll book it in my calendar. Anyway, moving right along, that's my little soapbox for today. I'm going to talk about past PLEs. Also, sorry, I'm very jittery today. I had my coffee. So back in my day, for anyone in your mid-20s and up, if you're in your mid-20s and you remember, but I think the cutoff is going to be us 30-year-olds and up. Okay? So, millennials, Gen X, all you older ones out there, come hither close. Remember a simpler time, when premier live events were called pay-per-views. And you had to have some money, some dinero, to afford to watch your pay-per-view. And your pay-per-view was on a big, huge tube-style TV. It was not a flat screen. And God forbid you had any inkling of severe weather and your pay-per-view froze. If you had a dad like mine, your dad probably cursed many obscenities because his pay-per-view froze. We had many VHSs of pay-per-views that were froze or didn't start on time. And then your wrestling event started almost an hour after it had already started, which I believe that happened to us for WrestleMania 17. Dad was not a happy camper. And that's probably why I drop the F-bomb as much as I do. So, anyway, we had some good pay-per-views. We had a good time. I'm going to focus on Unforgiven, which I did some research before this podcast. And I just looked at the demographic of what pay-per-views, were popular about this time of the year. And about this time of the year, I found Unforgiven, which Unforgiven was a great pay-per-view, okay? I am biased. I liked Unforgiven. You had some great card like match cards for Unforgiven. And I'm going to take us back to 2004. If you remember 2004, it's a great year. I think it was a great year. But I'm going to focus on the Triple H and Randy Orton match. So let's flash back to SummerSlam. Randy Orton became one of the youngest heavyweight champions at that time. Excuse me. And at the time, he was with the faction known as Evolution. Now, go back a couple episodes and watch our episodes where we have talked about tag teams. I believe I have it labeled. So I talk about the impact of Evolution on WWE. At the time, you had Triple H, you had Batista, you had Randy Orton, and you had Ric Flair. Okay? And that year at SummerSlam, Randy Orton won the World Heavyweight title, became one of the youngest World Heavyweight champions at that time. I believe he was 24. Feel free to fact check me. Then we get that big old celebration, which my co-host has talked about this before. The great celebration where Batista and Rick have Randy on their shoulders and they're just cheering, yeah, Randy's the man, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Triple H does this. He thumbs down, okay? He points at Batista and says, now. And that's when they beat the shit out of Randy. Anyway, this match was a great match. I did not go back and watch it, to be honest with you. I looked up the match card and I just kind of went with this. But it was a great match. However, Triple H did defeat Randy Orton and did win the title. And yes, Triple H had that belt a lot. But that's because Triple H was damn good at what he did at the time. He was a force to be reckoned with. And I'm sorry, I ain't trying to fight Triple H. Okay, so you can have that title. Done deal. The next year, 2003, we saw this feud going at that time between Shane McMahon and Kane, which, if some of you remember, Kane decided that he was going to be unmasked. At that time, that was the most terrifying thing for me. Do not judge me at all. Not gonna lie, I had nightmares of Kane unmasking and had nightmares of Kane for a while. It took a while to get over the phobia that was Kane, the big red monster. Looking at it now, the man is literally, I think, mayor or governor or some kind of political stance in Knoxville, Tennessee. Feel free to correct me. Feel free to fact check me. That is perfectly fine. Looking back on it, I was scared of some makeup. Girl, come on now. Come on now. Not okay. Anyway, Shane and Kane had a great match at Unforgiven in 2003. It was a I want to say it was the last man standing. I want to say it was no disqualification. But they also had another match at Survivor Series. Are you just enjoying yourself over there? Okay. Again, if you hear squeaks, you hear anything over here, rah, rah, rahs, it is my husky, and she's living her best life. Anyway, great match. Awesome match. Anything with Kane and Shane at the time was just amazing. Go watch Unforgiven 2003 and 2004. Had a great match card. And if you want to watch a great match between Shane and Kane, you need to go to Survivor Series. And I believe that was around that time. Anyhow, that's my retro rewind. And to all you millennials and Gen X's out there that grew up watching wressling, how y'all feeling now that we have to call them PLEs? Does it trip you up? Do you still call them pay-per-views? Drop it in the comments. We're just going to move right along. Just right along. I know this was a quick little episode. So we're just gonna call it. I'm your host, Chrissy, with the Chair to Face Wrestling podcast. Thank you for joining in. Please like, subscribe, comment, and watch some of our older videos. And I'll try to get some more out. So, peace out, guys. Have a great night. Goodbye. Well, what a fun time we had. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and watch more of Chair to Face Wrestling podcasts here on YouTube. And we're also on Spotify. Bye!